Outside the window, snow was falling heavily and the cold air was biting. However, the man was leisurely and content in his motorhome, enjoying the warmth of the fire and a sumptuous meal to get through this cold winter. On this day, Uemikawa was driving his modified motorhome across the endless snowfield. As the snowstorm was getting heavier, for safety reasons, he decided to pull over on the roadside and camp temporarily. Uemikawa first flipped up the windshield wipers to prevent them from being frozen by ice and snow. Then he opened the car door and got back into the warm motorhome. He removed the rear seats to make more spacious space. As night fell, the temperature dropped sharply, so he turned on the camping lights. The windows of the motorhome were wrapped with thermal insulation cotton, which not only kept the warmth inside the vehicle, but also provided him with enough privacy, ensuring that he could fully relax inside. To keep warm, Uemikawa took out an ancestral kerosene stove, added fuel and lit it. Immediately, the vehicle was filled with hot air, enough to keep it warm for more than 10 hours. Then he closed the windows and turned on the fresh air system inside the vehicle to ensure air circulation. At this moment, this motorhome had become a warm and cozy little home. However, the snow outside was getting heavier, and it was almost impossible to see the surrounding scenery. While the kerosene stove was heating, Uemikawa decided to go out for a stroll to feel the tranquility and beauty of the snowfield. After walking for a while, he got back into the vehicle. The warm room temperature had already reached over 20 degrees Celsius. Uemikawa took out fresh ingredients from the fridge, boiled noodles in a pot, added fresh vegetables, eggs and tender beef, and a simple yet delicious bowl of ramen was ready. Sitting alone in the warm vehicle, roasting by the fire, drinking a beverage, he was enjoying the comfort of being alone. Seemingly simple ramen was an extremely warm comfort in the cold winter. After finishing a big bowl, Uemikawa decided to have some desserts. After dinner, he started to adjust the motorhome to the sleep mode. After a simple tidying up, he laid out an electric blanket, plugged it in and started heating. Then he wrapped himself in a sleeping bag, and immediately felt warm and comfortable. After browsing his phone for a while, Uemikawa went to sleep early. The next morning, Uemikawa opened his eyes. The windows were already covered with thick ice and snow, and the outside scenery was completely invisible. He lit the lights inside the vehicle. The temperature inside the vehicle had dropped to around 0 degrees because the fuel of the kerosene stove had run out. Uemikawa refilled the fuel and lit the fire again. While the fire was heating, he tidied up the vehicle and turned the bedroom back into a living room. After getting dressed, Uemikawa walked out of the motorhome and found that the snowplows around had already started to work, clearing a passable road. The snow outside the vehicle was thick. Fortunately, he had chosen to stay here last night, avoiding the dangers on the road. The whole city was covered with ice and snow, and his motorhome was also covered with a thick layer of ice crust. After getting back into the vehicle, the fire had gradually warmed up the vehicle, and Uemikawa felt comfortable and relaxed. He boiled a kettle of hot water, made a cup of hot coffee, and woke himself up. Then he toasted bread slices, added meat patties and cheese, drank hot coffee while sitting on the warm electric blanket, waiting for the toasted bread to be ready. After eating and drinking, Uemikawa was ready to continue his camping journey. He climbed onto the roof of the vehicle and cleared away the snow, which was already a thick layer, more than 10 centimeters thick. The windshield in front of the vehicle was also frozen, and the thick ice almost blocked the view. Fortunately, the vehicle was in good condition, and the engine started normally. He was ready to set off again, and go deeper into the snowfield.